A church member of mine invited me to a factory after she overheard my prayer request during the church service the previous Sunday. As we arrived at the gate of the factory, she smiled as she gazed at the building in the distance. It wasn't close to the gate, yet she looked at it with so much affection. She told me she had picked her husband from that factory and had never regretted her choice since they got married. We walked in enthusiastically and approached the receptionist, who welcomed us warmly. She informed us that there were 6 rooms, each filled with different kinds of men. One of the workers was assigned to take us around the rooms. As we approached the first door, it read, "Young and Promising." I didn't understand the inscription, and I didn't bother to. I wasn't there to read words. The door was opened, and we walked in. The room was filled with young men, each surrounded by bright stars that floated around them. To me, they were young. Far too young to be my husband. I turned to my church member and said, "I don't like my man young. The caliber of men in this room isn't for me." So we left. We approached the second door, which read, "Patience breeds virtue." We entered. The men there looked decent. They appeared neither hungry nor fulfilled. They looked serious, too serious to simply exist. Too serious, as though they were fighting life itself. I shook my head in disapproval, and we left the room. The third door read, "Life is balancing." The men inside were breathtaking. They were the kind of men I had wished and prayed for. They were perfect. Presentable. Eye-catching. The kind of men the gods would choose to be kings without thinking twice. The kind of men women would fight the world just to have. The kind God took his time to create, and who had also taken time to refine themselves. The only problem was that they smiled too much, like people who didn't know the purpose of their existence. I told those with me, "I like what I see, but they seem too childish." We left. The fourth door had no words written on it. When we entered, the atmosphere wasn't welcoming. The men looked old and frustrated, like people who had lost their way in life. No purpose. No ambition. They looked as though they had cheated creation by forcing themselves into existence. I didn't waste a second there. I hurried out. The fifth door read, "Fulfilled." Inside were older men who didn't look old because success surrounded them like an ocean from every direction. Warm smiles rested on their faces. They shone so brightly that it seemed life's challenges had never visited them. I smiled. In fact, I laughed out loud. But then I thought, if this room is this good, the last one must be even better. So I told them we should go to the final room. The last door read, "Full of wisdom." When it was opened, nobody was inside. Only words covered the walls. What do you really want? Have you ever wondered why you are still single? You don't need a husband when you have not yet discovered yourself. Before you pray to be with a man, ask yourself if you are truly ready. What should have been yours, you left behind because you believed the next would be better. The kind of man you seek is yet to be manufactured. Go back home and wait. I was escorted out of the room towards the gate. I pleaded to be allowed to choose a man from any of the previous rooms, but they refused. Almost half of the employees escorted us out of the compound. I cried. They remained unmoved. After we left the factory, my church member, though saddened by what had happened to me, appreciated the experience because, through me, she had the opportunity to see the caliber of men in all 6 rooms. She smiled and said, "I picked my husband from the second room. I never had the opportunity to see the other rooms." We both left the factory empty-handed because I found something wrong with every man I saw. This story is not about picking a husband. It is about life itself. We imagine the best. We chase the best. We wait for the best. Yet, in doing so, we often let go of what could have become the best for us. Sometimes, you simply have to choose, nurture what you've chosen, and grow together. Life will not wait.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed telling it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. Don't miss our next adventure.